On this episode of Feed Your Caveman, we will be making wood-fired salsa. I'll show you the tools and ingredients you'll need to make this healthy and refreshing snack. Demonstrate how to roast peppers and tomatoes with the Pyro Tower to a perfect char. And share how I put together one of my family's favorite side dishes. So join us now on this new episode of Feed Your Caveman. Alright, so here's what you're going to need from Pyro Tower in order to make the salsa. You'll need the complete cooking kit or cooking accessory. And then some gloves, of course, so that you don't get burned. Let's go over the ingredients. And equipment needed for that. A sharp knife. I am no knife connoisseur, so this is just my favorite knife that I use to cut things. A plastic bag or an airtight container, and then a bowl. The ingredients include a couple cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of salt, a couple tablespoons of white vinegar, a quarter of an onion, about 5 or 6 tomatoes, and your preference on what size or what type, just however tomatoey you want your salsa to be, that's pretty much your preference. Cilantro, again, if you don't like cilantro, again, that's a perfect preference thing. If you don't like it, leave it out. A large bell pepper, 4 chili peppers, 4 poblano peppers, these are chili Anaheim peppers, and then 2 jalapeno. We like ours a little bit spicier, so I do include 2 or 3 jalapeno. If you don't want it really spicy, just do 1 or none. But I do like to include a lot of peppers to give a real salsa flavor. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these directly on the grill to get charred. And you can see I already have a fire going. Now I really want the temperature to be about mid to high temperature, nothing too high, because I just don't want it to roast it right away. So we're gonna just keep it, it's right at about 350, which is perfect right now. And I'm going to place all of this, except for the cilantro, onto the grill and let it char, and I'm going to turn it as it's charring, and then we'll take it off and we'll process it and go through the rest of the steps. I should note also with this oil, you'll want to rub your tomatoes in a little bit of oil before you put them on the grill, just to kind of help them. And you don't put cilantro on there, and you don't put all these other little small ingredients, just the vegetables and technically the fruit. And go ahead and keep them on the vine. There's no reason to take them off the vine. I'm gonna put these tomatoes in here. I'm gonna pour a little oil into my hand just because it's easier that way, and rub it all over each one of these tomatoes. Just lightly, doesn't need to be a lot. So I'm gonna place these tomatoes into the grill right now and let them get a little, you don't want them burnt, but you do want them to get a little charring on them. All right, those are gonna be great. And I'm gonna go ahead and just add the peppers straight on there. There's no real wrong or right way to set these on there. I just kind of put them on there. So do what you feel safe with and what you feel good about, and test it out a little bit. But it'll really start to smell great. You'll smell that those peppers start to char real quickly. So now I'm going to add the onions. I add those a little bit later because they tend to cook pretty fast. And I'm actually going to throw a couple cloves of garlic on there in just a flatter area. I will not be moving these around because they'll fall right down. But I'm just going to set them on there to roast just a little bit. So you'll want to turn your peppers and everything over after about 5 minutes, which I'm going to do right now. And just to see how the charring's going, you can continuously turn them as needed. I'm going to go ahead and turn all these over. And I see a nice charring already starting to happen on one side. So I'm going to check the back ones and see how much faster they're going, but this is exactly what I want. I want that black charring on there. All right, so this is what I have going on in the back, and it's perfect. That's exactly what we want. That's going to be a really great flavor in the salsa. All right, so everything's cooking really awesome right now. I can already see the tomatoes starting to peel a little bit, which is what we're going for by heating them up. We will release that skin after a little while. That's what this bowl is for. But I'm just going to let it kind of keep charring, and I'll turn it again in about another 5 minutes, and hopefully they'll be ready to just sit and get ready to process for the salsa. All right, so while those peppers and tomatoes are finishing up the cooking and charring process, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up some of this cilantro. I have about a couple tablespoons of cilantro once it's all chopped up. That's a preference, a taste preference. If you want more than that, then go with more. I did take the leaves off of the stems because I just don't like the stems in there. I don't like the texture. There's a lot of different opinions on that, but I took them off, and I'm gonna take the time to go ahead and just kind of cut it up a little bit. And you could throw everything that I'm doing into a food processor, but I prefer more of a chunky salsa, so I'm just gonna dice it up myself. Here's the onion that I did char, and you can see there's some charring on there. It does still feel warm, so I'm just gonna go ahead and dice that up as well. And then I'm gonna dice up the garlic. I love garlic. And this is something you might wanna dice up pretty small. You can even crush it if you need to. I'm just gonna dice it for this. Again, if you want to, just smash it, just crush it. That's fine too. All right, so I'm gonna move these all over to the side, and I'm gonna get the rest of those things out of the tower right now. So first I'm gonna start with the peppers. Now what I'm gonna do with the peppers is I'm gonna place them inside of this sealed bag. That'll help them release a little bit more, and just for the charring to be able to be peeled off, because we don't actually want to eat the charred peel. We just want to have that flavor put into the peppers for consuming, but not actually the charring to be eaten. I mean, look at that, that's great. I could almost go a little bit more, but I'm just gonna take that because I think that's good. Look at that. One lonely jalapeno, I think, needs a little bit longer, but I'm gonna seal this up to steam it. We wanna hold all that steam in there, and you'll see, as you can see, it's already accumulating all that steam. That's exactly what you want to happen. So I'm gonna set that to the side over here for a little bit, and I'm gonna get those tomatoes out. Now, tomatoes are kind of a different thing. You don't have to roast those if you don't want to, and you don't have to peel them. You can just cut them just like this, which I might do. I mean, that's a personal preference as well. Salsa is one of those things you just kind of explore and see what you like and go with it. And I think to make my life a little easier, I'll peel off what I can, but then I'll just chop them up and go with it. These tomatoes are looking really great. I do want to peel as much as I can off of them, and they peel so easy once they've been cooked like that. They are a little hot, so fair warning, if you're gonna peel off anything, make sure you're aware it is hot. Okay, so I'm peeling off the skin. It's coming right off. I mean, it's just awesome. Look how easy that peels off. I mean, that's just nothing. It's just like a steamed or boiled tomato, but it comes right off there. Some people say you should juice the tomatoes and get the juice out so that they have a drier salsa. Not me. I make things easy. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off the tops here, and I'm gonna cut them up and throw everything into the salsa. I mean, you can get all the seeds out. That's if you want to go through that work, but honestly, you don't need to. Just cut it up, throw it in the bowl. Go ahead and throw this stuff in there because I have it here. It's gonna stick all over my hands, but that's fine. I'll use the rest of the food to get it off. Now, how chunky you want it or how fine you want it, that's up to you. Again, if you use a food processor, of course, it's going to really make it a smooth salsa. I like a chunkier salsa. All right, so the tomatoes have been chopped up. They look glorious. So we're gonna go on to the peppers. They've been steaming in here. They look really great. They're still warm, which is what I want. I'm going to cut off the ends, and I'm going to take the seeds out. So I'm also going to cut it in half again. You can see that steam coming out, so just be aware. They're going to be hot. If they're super charred, go ahead and take the skin off. If they're not super charred, I mean, you can leave some of it on, but I think you're better off just taking as much off as you can. You'll get it off pretty easily wherever they're charred. As you can see, it's already kind of peeling up there on its own. So that charring wants to come off, and whatever will come off pretty easily. So don't force anything. I mean, just make it easy on yourself. All right, so I have the first pepper out here, and I'm gonna do this with the rest of them. I'm gonna cut it up, dice it up, and I'm gonna throw it in that bowl. So instead of making you guys sit here and watch me do all that, because I'm not the best slicer and dicer, I take my time. I'll be right back, and I'll show you how it looks after this. All right, so I did it. I chopped everything up, and it looks, I mean, it just looks awesome. You'll notice there's a few seeds in there. Some of those from the tomatoes, and some I just didn't get out of all the peppers. It's fine. It's not gonna hurt you. Just, try to get as many as you can. The last little part is to add some salt. I have about 2 teaspoons of salt, and I'm using the pink Himalayan salt. You can use whatever you want. I like a more coarse salt, so I did have a grinder that did this for me and ground it up. I'm going to use some white vinegar, and that is 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and then some extra virgin olive oil. You can use vegetable oil, whatever your preference of oil is. I like olive oil. I'm just gonna pour about a couple tablespoons on top of there, and we're just gonna mix this all together. Oh, it's so good. I am so ready to eat some of this. You can see all the colors of the different kinds of peppers, and then the tomatoes and the onions and the cilantro, the garlic. Oh, and it smells so delicious. Very fragrant. When you're finished eating, if there's any left, I don't know if there will be any left today, but when you're finished eating, just put it in the fridge, and it's even better the next day after sitting in all those juices in the refrigerator. But I'm gonna try it right now. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic. Oh, that's so good. All right, well, check out the links below on this video for all links to our products if you're interested in getting any of them. Also, I'll be back again soon, so make sure to check back, like, share, and subscribe, and you'll get updates on our video and when the next one's posted. Thanks, and have a great day.